Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Backcast, where I, Adam Upper, talk with Braydon County about Batman, the animated series. And this week's episode is Trial. How you doing today, sir?
Guilty, 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 guilty. I'm guilty of all sorts of things.
So about normal then.
A little less off my conscience, but yeah.
So today's episode is Trial. Is the 68th episode produced, and it's the 69th, nice, episode to air, airing May 16th, 1994. So, do you remember what you're doing May 16th, 1994?
I believe I was attending the Howard Stern radio show premiere in Orlando, Florida. That actually
Or,
happened that day. Baba
and,
Booey. New season, new rules.
and the premiere is in Florida?
California, Florida, sunny state.
Uh,
Tomato, tomato.
well, it's just, I wouldn't really compare Florida with California. But this episode is written by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, and is directed by Dan Reba. Yeah, Reba. Reba. Yeah, I didn't really hear that. Yeah, listen to that Long Island song with the two worlds collide.
I listened to it after you recommended it the first time. It was worth the Google search, that's for sure.
so yeah, so So I think this is one of the episodes that have been mentioned a few times before we got to it. Yeah. So you've remember watching this episode when it first came out, or like in the first airing or in repeats.
Well, the repeats for sure, but yeah, this is one of my favorite BTOS episodes. Yeah, and you guys will very quickly see why. I'm not gonna say too much at the moment because yeah, I don't know about you. I just kind of want to jump into it because I'm actually really excited.
It's like you got another like I threw a rock at him.
I know, yeah. As soon as I'm like, Croc is committed to this stupid rock. Where are you gonna get a rock in Arkham Asylum? Is there a quarry?
I had a good laugh at that when he said that and just put his arms up.
Yeah. Yeah, so this episode opens up with Poison Ivy at I think it's a sentencing hearing
Yeah.
uh, with the new district. Actually, she's appeared very briefly, and I think she was in the Batgirl debut episode. The new district attorney Janet Van Dorn is the prosecution, and she's being told by the judge to Poison Ivy, like, the district attorney's been pushing for a life sentence on you. The problem is that because you were apprehended by Batman, who's not a recognized agent of the law, you are not going to be given a jail sentence. Instead, you'll be sent to Arkham Asylum for rehabilitation to hopefully cure you of your mental illness. And she's got this very like sly smile on her face. And it really is kind of a thing of kind like, I mean, we make Arkham jokes all the time on this show. I think Batman fans since time immemorial have, but it really is this factor of the matter. Like, you'd think that like the judicial system would have gotten better at this by now.
Or just know better by now not to fight something that is not going to work.
Yeah.
So how does the DA system work in the States? Is there only one at a time, or is there like multiple ones? Because so is this did it take this long to replace Harvey Dent as DA, or is this like or did they think there was like another one and they left and then she's replacing that one?
Well, I know that they're elected, like a lot of other city officials, and there's a lot of assistant DAs because if you remember Batman Begins, Rachel Dawes was an assistant DA before she was helping out Harvey Dent. and her like boss at the time when he went missing, she kind of took up the baton and like took over his responsibilities when they were investigating things like Falcone and the stuff going on at Arkham Asylum. So either she was an assistant DA who took over the role, or she's been elected since that time. Knowing city politics and Gotham being thrown into the equation, I'm gonna say she's just been recently elected. And with both a city full of crazy supervillains and the bad reputation of your last, district attorney, I'm sure that she's just kind of like just swamped with both a bad public relations image and, just backlogged paperwork.
That would suck.
Yeah, I can only imagine her frustration.
And then too, and like, how many times do you think that judges said that like this week that like due to being caught by Batman, we had to throw this fucking case out.
Yeah, you'd think that Gordon, of all people, sitting
Yeah.
there would be a little pissed off or have found a way around this, legal kind of technicality.
No, like, well, no, it's not. Well, I wouldn't really say it's a technicality. It's like he got brought in by not the police. Like, no wonder the police don't like fucking Batman. He's like, that's what we're here for. We need to do this shit to make this fucking stick.
Yeah.
Keep on fucking our shit up.
Due process, what's that?
We can't you when you want to go fucking beat them up. We can't. Like, come on. No, wait, that's real life.
Abab, all bats are bad. But yeah,
But then too, when she gets to Arkham, she like kind of looks like kind of sad when she's going into her cell.
I
But
noticed
do you
that
think?
too.
But I was then I was thinking that was also too like I was thinking because Harley's like across the way and she's just gonna be fucking talking all day, so it'd be like I think I'd be annoyed too being put in across from Harley.
By the way, did you notice what was in Ivy's cell as soon as she got there? I'll give you
Uh,
a guess. A
it's like
plant. They're literally leaving the plants for her. Like it's a freaking hotel, like mint on your pillow. Like,
she got to start with something. Yeah, you gotta keep her occupied. Yeah.
yeah. So,
But, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Harley's like, cheer up, Red. We're gonna have a party pretty soon, and Jervis here has the invitations. And that's when you realize that Mad Hatter has broken loose and put like his playing card, like mind control devices on the Arkham guards. So immediately you already know that something's up. And then you have this brief news clip of Van Dorn being interviewed. I think it's by Summer Gleason, who's saying so she's saying to the media that like these criminals are bad, but you know who's worse? Batman. He's the reason for all the crime like escalating in Gotham. And she's like, it sounds like you want to put Batman on trial. She's like, believe me, I'd love nothing more. And Gordon like turns off the TV and he's talking to Janet and he's like, do you really think that this is worth the crusade, Janet? And she's like, yes, I do.
Damn it, Janet.
Oh, I love you. I was wondering if you're gonna get that reference. I actually had a Rocky Horror Picture Show reference lined up in the back of my head. Yeah, so Gordon's like, like whatever you say, like Batman's the best weapon we have against crime. And I actually liked her phrasing here when she's like, and I think that he's a drug that you in the city take to like remove yourselves from reality. I'm like, I mean, she's kind of got a point there. Like,
Yeah, because as I said, I have a feeling that wasn't the first time, like today or this week, that judges said, due to Batman being involved, we have to fucking kick you to the curb. So,
you know what I've also wondered is like police officers, like their number one complaint is like the paperwork that they have to do with like all the follow up, all their cases. How do you navigate paperwork when it comes to a costume vigilante? Like, are there just a lot of gaps on forms and it's like, blacked out, like permanent marker over, like, like fill in the blank here part? like redacted, redacted, redacted.
That's probably just like a check here if Batman was involved.
Yeah. Oh, you want
So,
the Batman form? Those are blue. And as that happens, my 40 years are burning. As Batman comes walking into the like walking through the window, and she literally says like, "Speak of the devil." And I think he said like, there's gonna be like a gang movement from like the Skulls or something.
yeah,
And
yeah. Would then coincidentally has like their shirt like looks really similar to the Punisher
I
shirt.
noted that too.
And then Summer Gleason is like, "Don't bother because we have like a task force set up to get them this week." And he's like, "You don't bother," and like undoes the blinds, and he's like hanging there out the
Yeah.
window. He's like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, even
Like,
Gordon's kind of like, Gordon's just completely silent on this. Like, dude, you're making her point, dude. You're making it worse. Stop pissing in the police punch bowl. Yeah, and one quick note, we got to make mention of here as he's like, you're welcome. I did your job for you, and he swings away, and she's like looking at Jim like, this is what I'm talking about. So one very quick detail, it's a blink and you miss it. She takes the batarang off of
yeah,
the Skull gang leader as
yeah,
she's
it puts in her pocket. Yeah, so it
mhm.
makes me wonder, like with Alfred and Batman, like in the Batcave, do they handle all of them all the time with gloves, or do they, or do they,
Ooh,
or do you think,
fingerprints.
or do you think the police have never actually bothered to think to actually find and like print a batarang that's been like left behind?
Yeah. You think we have a forensics department here?
Damn it, guys! How long he's been here? And nobody's thought to fucking do that. I thought you guys did that like first time these one of these have been found. Like, what the fuck, Bruce Wayne?
Ac-
Like, there's no way this fucking him. Like, what the fuck?
Actually, do you know who the CSI representative of the Gotham Police Department was on the Gotham show?
No.
Edward Nigma. So I think you can figure out where that happened. Yeah, so I think after that is her going on a date with Bruce Wayne after that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, it's like that night, and he's like sitting down, and it's like him going to the table. He's like, "So I hear we're going out to the Batman, eh?" Or to that effect.
Hmm. And they of course start talking, and he's like saying like, "You can't believe that Batman's that bad." You know, I heard that he's rather sexy actually in the right light, every light you might say. And she's like, haven't you thought about it, Bruce? Like, you've lived in Gotham your whole life and you see all the crime out there. Like, no, usually I'm on the golf course, or at least that's what I tell the office. But she says, like, think of it, all the super villains like Poison Ivy, Mad Hatter, Two Face, like, they're all like created as a response to Batman. Two Face has to especially be a salty sting on Bruce's conscience, as we know he blames himself for Harvey's accident. It's like, Bruce, why are your eyes watering? No reason.
Man, well, I guess she shouldn't complain because because now she's DA, so assuming that she's
There you go.
replacing
Yeah, you wouldn't have the job
Harvey.
if it wasn't for Two Face. Yeah.
I think that's at that point when like the waiter or whatever comes over and says to her that like there's a phone call or something for her. So and she's like, okay. So she excuses herself and goes to the phone, and then see Bruce sitting there and looks like it's been a minute or two, and then he like flags down the waiter walking by, and he's like, oh, have you seen my date or whatever? And he's like, no, not in the last half hour, sir. So and then he's like, oh, that looks all sullen, and that's when you hear the rest of the restaurant start to murmur, and then you see out the window that the bat signal's been put on, like turned on, I guess.
Mhm.
I was gonna say flag, but that's not. I don't think that's the correct term. But I
One
guess
of the
turned on.
funny things that I heard in the background, like as like the the restaurateurs are like, talking amongst themselves, like, "Oh my gosh, it's the bat signal! Holy crap!" One guy I heard say, "I've never seen that before." You live in Gotham, bro.
Yeah, he could be having dinner or say he could be coming in from out of town having dinner with somebody that lives there.
Could be, but
Yeah.
still.
Well, it didn't say like I've lived here all my life. I've never seen this before. It's just
Who would want to do business in Gotham? What profit could you possibly yield?
well, I guess I think it'd be like not too dissimilar from like coming into Toronto and doing business except for like the supervillains and stuff. So
Mm. No, our supervillains run for public office. Heyo!
fucking Ford man.
Yeah, so so he goes to the bat signal where Gordon's waiting, and we have Janet's glasses case with her initials like there, and he says these were dropped at the police department, a half hour ago, along with this letter. And I forget what the letter said, but it was more. I'm actually surprised like Riddler didn't have more of a presence in this episode because it's potentially a riddle. He
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
didn't
because
write it.
because it was like a cut of like magazine cutout, and it was just basically something about where justice is blind or something like that, or
Hmm.
something to that effect. I think.
Yep.
It goes to like the courthouse, yeah, and then he like lands and he sees somebody in like in a flowy coat and a fedora type thing. He's like, "You there? Come out late." And he ends up fucking tackling a statue. Like, how much would that fucking suck?
That's what I thought. I'm like, dude, you must have like so many bruises all over your body just from that football tackle.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah, yelling at it. I think it's the person. Then they don't move out, so he just like he's like, "I'm more to you," and just runs at it and tackles it. And then it's like that's just like the Justice is Blind statue, but it had like an overcoat and like a fedora on it. Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of looked like Phantom Stranger to me. Did you
yeah,
notice
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like when he first I saw, just need like the goggles or whatever. Yeah.
Also, fun fact, Batman fans, Kevin Conroy voiced the Phantom Stranger in the Batman and the Brave and the Bold cartoon.
It's nice. I don't think I've seen that cartoon yet.
It's very campy and evocative of the 66 style. Like it's very much like I mean, it's still fun, but if you're looking for like more of a gritty, darker noir tone, it's very much the polar opposite of that.
I'll eventually check it out. Yeah, if I
Yeah.
remember to. And then so after like tackling the statue, he's like all woozy and stuff, which is to be expected. And then he just he like lets out a little yell, and he gets like an arrow in the back, and like the statue that was like in the middle of the courtyard turns out to be fucking Poison Ivy with her little. What she did? She have like a full on like a bone arrow set, or was it her like wrist
I think it was the
deployment thing
wrist.
or whatever? Yeah, I shot him. So I guess do we think it was poisoned, or was it just like a regular arrow to the back?
I mean,
I'll
knowing her
fly.
motif, I'm gonna say it was poison, but yeah, I mean, I think he's also probably dealing with a concussion after head tackling a friggin' granite statue.
So he's kind of stumbling may or may not being poisoned with a concussion, and then like Harley comes in and like kicks him a few times or whatever, and
Mhm.
then knocks him out, and then he wakes up in like a street jacket, and no, I think he gets knocked out, and I think that's when we see Janet at the
Mhm.
at Arkham banging on the door. I think, right? I think
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
before
she's
we see
banging on the door, and all of a sudden, the door opens, and it's Two Face on the other side. And I love how like she just calls him Two Face. I mean, I know that like that's his criminal operati like moniker, but like this is probably a guy you worked with, so like I don't know. Like I work with you and I purposely call you Adam as a sign of respect. Like I don't refer to you as Stump Chunkman. Like you know what I mean? Like even though most of the people we talk to online refer to you that, it's
yeah,
like, no, I'm gonna call you by your name. Like
yeah. What's it like in a gasp or whatever, or something. Yeah, it was just like that, just flat out Two Face. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't know. It's just very inconsiderate. And it's probably not helping your chances, like, provoking like the crazy person. But
But yeah, then what was he what does he say to her when he opens the thing in the door? I can't
oh,
remember.
he says, like, you're in Arkham, welcome here, and she's like running out of the cell. He's like, I wouldn't bother with that. And you see that Mad Hatter has outfitted all the Arkham staff with like the playing cards, so they're all like on like a lunatic loop, like just like walking back and forth between the cells. Arguably, this is the most productive that Arkham Asylum staff have ever been. So yeah, and I would also like to note that Dr. Bartholomew, the guy who kidnapped Batman in the Dreams in Darkness episode, is also one of them. So yeah, I'm not even bothering a crocodile tear on that moment. Guy was a waste of a PhD. Like, so yeah, he says like, you're here because, well, she says like you're planning to escape. He's like, oh, eventually, but first we're gonna have a trial. He's like, a trial? A trial for who? And yeah, that's when Killer Croc is like waltzing in with like dragging Batman behind him in a straitjacket. So this is the part of the episode that, like, oh man, like the fanboy in me, like it, like I wish you guys could see the smile on my face because like it's like the kid in me just like elated right now. But yeah, so basically what they're gonna have is a trial where she's representing Batman, Two Face is representing the prosecution, Joker is the judge, the jury is full of Arkham inmates, and basically the premise of the trial is that they want to determine whether Batman is guilty of creating the Arkham supervillains, which, when you think of it, is a legitimate question.
So yeah, so the jury is the Mad Hatter, Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, Scarecrow, Riddler, and Harley Quinn
Mhm.
for the jury. So if I saw them as my jury and like Joker as my judge, I'd be like, just fucking send me to wherever you go and just get this over with.
Yeah. Well, even
I,
Two
I,
Face, I think,
I know I'm cooked right now. Like,
yeah, even Two Face, I think, said like I would have rather just put a bullet between his eyes, but I lost the coin toss.
yeah, it's I voted for a slug between the eyes, but I lost the coin toss.
Yeah, but yeah, it's as they're like kind of getting ready for like the trial, they say like, "Here's your jury of peers," and like it follows with Mad Hatter saying, "Hang him." I think Harley said, "Shoot him," and Killer Croc goes, "Hit him with a rock."
Yeah.
Might I add, you tried to hit him with a rock and it didn't work.
Little's a big rock.
We're gonna need a bigger rock. Batman just grabs a rock, just puts his head right beside it, and says, "Look, I'm just gonna set up the circumstances here. Just curb stomp me, and I'll show you it's not gonna work. Go on, do it. I dare you. I double dare you." Yeah, so like as Joker's coming in, of course, like dressed like a judge, like with the big like parliament looking wig.
Yeah, the powdered wig type judge. Yeah.
Yep. He's just like guilty, guilty, guilty. Just like I haven't even had a chance to defend him, and Joker's like, "All right, fine. Not that it's gonna make a difference."
Let's get this farce going. I mean, trial going.
Yeah.
So I think the first one is the Mad Hatter up on the being up on the chair, I guess, or whatever, being cross-examined, I guess I suppose is the term.
Hmm.
And she was he was just saying that he was just like a harmless scientist before Batman came along.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, weren't you like mind controlling people before? And like, well, he made me. We're like, no, he didn't. He caught you. He-
You make that sound like it's mind control of some kind. Isn't that your specialty? Objection. That's my job.
You retroactively maybe do it.
Yeah,
Because it yeah, like you might control the lady because she turned him down, and he's like, maybe like, no, that's not how that works.
yeah. Well, she even says like you could have respected her wishes and left her alone, and of course that leads to an outburst of him saying, "I would have killed her first." And he realizes, "Oh shit, I just said that out loud."
Yeah, and that's where the part he's like, I like that stricken from the record. He's like, and the Joker's like, someone's supposed to be writing this down.
Yeah. That's the funny thing is like everybody has like just like taken up roles. Like we didn't even mention that Scarface is like the bailiff. But you think like, yeah, who would be the stenographer in this case? Like, oh gosh, Sewer
Like,
King? Like,
who would have like a stenographer, like a keyboard or whatever? Because it's like a specialty one to. They have like weird keys to build and like do like full words and shit like right away, or short form shit to do it that way. And it's not just like a regular normal keyboard and shit. So it's fucking weird. I don't know.
you don't understand. It's Batman's fault. I live in my own shit. I never told you to do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so go ahead.
I think it's like Harley up next, and she's
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah. I want to mention this part because I find there's a little bit of a kind of gaping hole in this argument here. Because
she's like,
go ahead.
yeah, she was like, yeah, if it wasn't for Batman, she would have made the Joker, and you ever met him. So I want to thank him. You're like, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, even like
But
she's like Janet it says like objection. She's objecting to the judge who Harley literally has in her lap, like just
oh
like
yeah,
crooning.
at first, yeah, I tell you, he was like, objection for trying to sway the judge or whatever. Yeah, at first, and and he's like, oh wait, he goes and then
Yeah.
forgot about
He's
that. Right?
such an attention seeker. Like and yeah, she says, yeah, if it hadn't been for Batman, I would have never met my puddin'. And she says, oh, Janet goes up to her and she's like, oh, really? Well, did you happen to know that the last time that you were arrested, you got longer time because of Puddin' here? And Joker's just kind of like, shut up, shut up. He like knows where this is going. And she's because Puddin' here ratted out on you and get more time off of his sentence. And okay, I may not understand American law, but I think that for a plea deal, the district attorney has to approve that deal, which is her. She made a deal with the Joker to get more dirt on Harley. Like, shouldn't that be the other way around?
No, I think it was just like he tried to tried to offer up for a reduced sentence. I think it was instead of actually doing it.
When you think of it,
Uh,
is like a bigger fu to Harley, considering
yeah.
like Joker doesn't need time off. He's gonna break out sooner than anybody. Yeah, and Harley's like, "Is that true, Mister J?" He's like, "Well, I mean, when you're between a rock and a hard place," and she just like grabs him out of the collar. I'm gonna kill you. He's like, "The witness is excused," and she's being hauled off like, "I gotta." I don't know why. Maybe it's like who is Joe Pesci's character in Home Alone? It was it Harry or Marv? Harry, right?
uh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, because he kept on saying Marv. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So like this is gonna sound like a total aside, but like when we watch that movie, like he is constantly like muttering under his breath, like which is what a lot of these guys are doing because like they're just like ranting and like raging under their breath. Fun fact. The reason why he was doing that is because Joe Pesci was used to lots of like mob movies where he would swear a lot. And obviously he's in a kid's movie here. So just like, I don't know, like you're angry, but obviously you can't say what you usually say when your characters are angry. Like
Yeah,
you just make
try
something
to
up.
just trying to like not say swear words where you're just be like, rah, 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 try to be mad and walk out.
Because we even catch Two-Face doing it like in the next scene because okay, Poison Ivy is brought as the next witness, and Janet's like, so like you're blaming Batman for your whole like reason for taking up crime. She's like, if it wasn't for Batman, I would have offed Harvey Dent. And look at Harvey now. Wouldn't that be a better option if he was dead? And he's just sitting there flipping the coin like, yeah, like, like permission to treat the witness as hostile. He drives a truck against her.
Yeah, he's trying to flip it so it lands on the bad
Yeah.
side up.
Well, hey, remember back in Almost Got Him, he said like the one half of me wants to strangle you. She's like, what does the other half want to do? Hit you with a semi truck. But I liked her. See, this is the interesting thing, is because obviously she's got an anti-vigilante stance on Batman. Did you remember the Star Trek episode Measure of a Man?
I vaguely that's like the one where they're arguing about if Data was like human, basically,
Yeah,
or whatever.
and they brought in Riker in that instance because they're like, you have to take this to like as if you were going to the full extent of the legal parameters in proving that Data isn't considered like a sentient being of free will. So like he has to go against his like better judgment. And it's the same instance here with Janet, except it's to the other extreme because obviously she'd love nothing more than a chance to, get rid of Batman. But here she has to actually work within the parameters of the law in this, kangaroo court as it is, and say like, like let me do my job to basically figure out how to play this in Batman's favor because she says like, "Oh, so you were doing that just because you wanted to get rid of Harvey Dent, right?" And it's all Batman's fault. But what about like when a judge such as the Joker here, and she pulls off his like boutonniere and says like, "What about when he picks a flower like this one?" And she starts doing the, like the she loves me not, just plucking the petals one by one. And I love the animation here because like Poison Ivy is just clearly getting more and more agitated.
Yeah, then she ends up tackling her or something. I think like
Oh,
after
she
she
lunged at her.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think that's the point. Just like Batman, just like urges her, so like yeah, them to keep it going.
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah. I would have been curious to see like some of the other like characters here because like that is like as much as I love like a good like villain team up episode, there are clearly parameters that they have to work under. Like obviously there's only so many actors you can bring into like a 30-minute episode. So like Scarecrow and Riddler in particular, they show up but they don't actually get like voice appearances compared to the other characters.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
I would, and I think I was reading like in the trivia, like for one of them, like they didn't actually have any lines because like the voice actor ended up having like throat surgery or some such, so he couldn't
oh
actually
really?
like did do the lines. I think it may have been Scarecrow. I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, just trying to get that many people for like one show, it would be tough. Yeah, so that might be the reason why the other one wasn't. It didn't have any lines, but yeah, at least one of them. So at least they were able to work with that.
Mhm.
Then I think that's where we cut to like Commissioner Gordon at the wherever Batman landed to tackle the statue, and he like finds his little Batman tracker thing,
Mhm.
and he just it got busted out from him tackling the thing. And he just puts like the half a bat like on the side, and it just fucking starts working again. And he's like, "Oh, yep, yeah, it's north." So like, and the only thing that's up there is Arkham. So that's like, hey, like if it's broken computer tech, we all know by now they've dealt with enough computer stuff that just attaching it like that's not going to magically make it work again. And B, if there's like random Batman tech around, I think there'd be more safeguards that even if somebody was able to get it working again, that it would be able to
I
just
didn't
like turn
consider
it
that,
on.
but that's a very
Would be able
good
to just
point.
be able to turn it on and be like, oh yeah, and just like that last thing being done comes back up on the screen, and he's like,
What if he like accidentally leads to like the Bat Cave and then just Alfred comes down and there's hundreds of police officers and goes, well, shit.
shit. Or yeah, like if Flash replace here, and yeah, it's just like like the Bat Cave, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's where I love like we'll get to this episode like probably in like a year or two from now, but there's the episode where Batgirl figures out that like Bruce Wayne is Batman. She goes down into the Batcave, and Bruce Wayne's standing there, and Alfred like walks in, doesn't realize is like she's there until he sees her. He's like, "Oh, so you figured out our secret? Yes, it's true. I am Batman."
I'm Spartacus.
Yeah, I'm
Actually, yeah.
Batman, and so's my wife.
Well, I think that'd be the thing. If there was a Batman, if I like out there and not like I came out and say Batman, I think everyone would it's safe to say that they knew it would be me.
Yeah,
Or is that the best disguise ever?
yeah. I mean, come on, would you have expected it?
I play the long game like Christian Bale in Prestige,
Oh yeah. Or what's it called? The Machinist. Do you know apparently
or
like
the Machinist.
yeah, yeah, do you know apparently he did that movie like either right before or right after Batman Begins? So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
picture the
yeah,
body difference in that, like going from like
yeah,
a
yeah. So
brick
yeah, it's like
muscle house.
yeah. So he's fucked himself, fucked his body up from doing shit like that. So I
Oh
think
my
he's
gosh.
like because I think he said he stopped it because he's like big time like getting into character actor sort of thing. So he's like I need to stop doing that because I've legitimately fucked my body up. Because then that one movie I think it was something to do with like Congress or some shit or whatever. And he was
Oh,
like
Dick
super
Cheney.
big, like whatever. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and he was like super big, so I think he went from like machinist to from like Batman to the machinist to like Dick Cheney in like a couple years time, and that's very much not healthy for it to do.
No.
Because yeah, if you've seen that, yeah, see if you ever seen like stills from the machinist people, yeah, that's not like CG or CGI or anything. That's literally him. Because he said he like ate like half an apple or like in a bottle of water a day or something like that for like a couple weeks or whatever or something like some shit to do that. And I'm like, that's not good.
You can see his rib
Yeah,
cage.
yeah, yes, it's not pretty. Yeah, like there's a reason I only
I'm
saw the
not
movie
talking
once.
about a couple ribs. I mean the whole
Yeah,
cage.
I've only seen that movie once.
Part of me doesn't want to see it. Not that I'm sure it's not a
No,
good movie. It's just like,
yeah, it's
oh,
yeah,
like no.
yeah, 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 just like one of my work when I reference like if I see like if it's that lot, if it's SVU that's on, it's like the bummer show. Like it's
Yeah.
really well done. It's just a fucking bummer.
Yeah. It's kind of like I feel like calling up my therapist after this. Like,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
yeah. And speaking of mental health, back at Arkham Asylum, where the trial is wrapping up, we have Janet who is making her closing statements, and she's like, I used to blame Batman for all of you guys, but the more I'm hearing about your stories, the more I realize like you all would have become criminals no matter what. If anything, you created him.
And they're like, what?
Yeah. And yeah, so like the Joker is like, kind of closing the trial, and he's like, Jury, have you reached a verdict? And Mad Hatter's like, actually, we have, Your Honor, not guilty. And of course, like, she's relieved, and Joker's like, like putting his gavel down. And he's like, well done, Miss Van Dorn. You've proven that no matter what Batman has done, we all would have become crazy because of our own actions and choices. And because we're all homicidal maniacs, we're gonna kill you anyway. Which, I mean, if you didn't figure out that was gonna happen, like,
Yeah, and that's why I said at the beginning, if I saw like the Joker as the my judge, I would just say, hey, just do it now.
yeah. Well, what's funny is like, shouldn't Two Face be like, objection? I haven't flipped my coin yet.
It wasn't his idea, so so it's okay.
Yeah, so like they're hauling them off like into like the execution chamber where I think they were gonna electroshock him on like a slab, like you know, an upright like table. And he's still in the straitjacket. And the Joker comes in dressed as a priest. And he's even got like the Irish accent. He's just like, oh, time for the final confession. It's like, I confess my sin that I didn't hit you harder. How about that?
Yeah, and then too, and then they were going to like demask him first before that, and then that's where Janet takes out the batarang that she lifted from the Punisher earlier, and like Dan takes out the light, and then
She's got
everyone's
good
like,
aim, dude.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Like for her
if you're
first try.
like if you're in D and Gotham, I'm sure you've probably have some sort of like self defense stuff going on. So I imagine she's a bit fit. So like I wouldn't put it past her to be able to do that. But yeah, that must have been one of the elective courses to take like boomerang throwing.
Yeah. Yeah, so all of a sudden, like the lights go out, and Two Face pulls out a lighter as he's like, like trying to figure out like what's going on, and they are like, "All right." Joker says like, "Nobody panic," and Batman has like managed to escape. He probably could like we've established like with I think the last time he was in a straitjacket. Who would have thought Batman would be in a straitjacket twice in this series, huh? But three times actually, because he was training with Zatara.
So you should, for like having like trained to specifically get out of shit like this, he's taking a lot longer than he should be to
Yeah,
get out of it.
yeah. Maybe he wanted to like reckon with his own conscience. Am I responsible? Like maybe I should sit down and like hear society's complaints against me. Maybe this is as close to self-reflection as Bruce has ever come to his life.
Well, he did keep on saying that you need to keep the fires going. So
Yeah. But for who? For them or for him? Can't
that's
it
for
be
you to
both?
decide.
Yeah, so he grabs Harley and after one of them has said like, all right, nobody panic, and then they like swing around the light and like Harley is upside down, like gagged with like the straight jacket on. I love Joker just going, all right, start panicking. And then Croc, I think, goes to like block the door, and he's like, "There's no way he's getting out." And you hear Batman say, "Who says I'm gonna leave?"
Yeah, just from like the darkness, and you're like, ah, shit.
Yeah, this was easily like even I love the trial in itself, but this is easily like my favorite scene because like I think I've said on the show before, I love when Batman just utilizes the darkness to his own advantage. Because yeah, he's like just kind of like the boogeyman, just like you're grabbing them like up like off screen, and they're just like, "What's going on?" And I think that there's at one point, oh yeah, where they realize like he's possibly getting closer to Croc. Joker grabs a machine gun and like aims it at Croc, and even Scarface is like, "You're gonna hit him," and he's like, "So what? I'm going to that big rock in the sky." Yeah, and I think I forget like there was so much like flurry between like the light and the darkness. Somehow in all this, he managed to electrocute Croc, and I'm
Yeah, I
not
think
talking like a
yeah,
static charge.
I think with shooting the machine gun, he like nearly hits like Harley and like damages the generator, and then like the generator shocks Killer Croc, and that gets him like out of the way of the door.
Yeah, I remind you that there's enough electricity in there designed to kill people. That's the whole reason it's there. Yeah, so I think like as they're like kind of realizing like there's like a cooked reptile in the room, Batman and Janet are like, fleeing. And I love like that's the other thing. As like the cops are still on their way to the asylum, it's just kind of this thing of like every corner they turn, there's like another villain or like prisoners there to like basically like, grab them. It really does kind of feel like the first Batman Arkham Asylum game, where it's
Yeah,
like no
so
matter where you turn, it's going from bad to worse.
yeah, but that's just the one thing is like when they do that, like they come across Scarecrow and he has the fucking his scythe with him. Like how do
Hmm.
you get that? How do you get that into fucking into Arkham?
I smuggled it up my ass, Cartman style.
I know, yeah, because I've touched and used a scythe before, man. Like I don't think we wanted to try that to boof that, man.
Do I want to know the context?
To which part, like the scythe or the boof?
You with the scythe.
No, I was using it in context. I was using it for its intended use to cut like vegetation down.
You were
'Cause I
threshing
remember,
wheat.
yeah, well, not wheat, no, but it was a wheat eating somewhere.
Yeah. Hey, I've used
Like
the katana. It's all good.
I am a generation removed of like being like a farmer. So being a kid, I did grow up in a bunch of farms. So
Oh, there you
I
go.
was big. So yeah, I was big. So and I grew up in boy. I think and was that where I used it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but yeah, it was only the one time. But I have used one before. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And like they're like, hefty things too.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. As I said, there was a reason why I was using it because I'm fucking huge.
yeah. Well, even like as he's like swinging it and Batman dodges like the blade,
Yeah, yeah, and it
Scarecrow
fucking
cuts Scarface's head off.
yeah,
Again, like I know the animators have said this in like in interviews in the production notes where they're like, yeah, with Scarface, we have the opportunity to do things that we couldn't do with the person. I'm like, yeah, but you're like really eager to do it in kind of like a disturbing way. I think you guys got some issues you need to kind of button down. Yeah. And so yeah, I think they hop from that to Two-Face and the guards. Batman manages to grapple away just as Gordon and the police are coming in to like, take him down. And I believe the showdown is Batman and her on the rooftop with Joker, who has a lasso. Where do you get the lasso?
who knows? Wherever probably the same place that Scarecrow got his
Yeah.
scythe from.
Yeah, it's all in lockup. Like this is from when we arrested Wonder Woman because, why not? It's Gotham. Yeah, and like he tries to like it's this really cool fight actually because like they're fighting on the side of the building, kind of like Spider-Man style. Like as he's like got him like on one end of the rope, and like they're basically like trying to like fight against each other and gravity at the same time. And I think that Batman managed to, well, he managed, of course, to be the Joker, but like, there's this like stone buttress, like this like beam between like the two buildings, and Joker like lands on it, like his abdomen is shattered, dude. Like it's gonna be hard to laugh after that without like coughing up blood. And I
I
think
think
that
it's at that point where like Janet realizes that like that she was right and like Batman's needed or whatever, and she and makes peace with him and whatnot.
Well, I think she says I think that you do have a point in what you're doing, but I hope to, find a day eventually when the city doesn't need Batman. And he says, on that we agree. And I'm like, okay, so like he at least says like I'm a necessary evil, but like I do eventually want peace in Gotham. Like he does have like kind of an end game in mind.
or just
That
hoping there's a time where he isn't needed or whatever. So that which may mean there's like a means to the end, I guess, or whatever, or
yeah,
end to the means, like or end to the means, I guess.
yeah.
Or yeah, because I guess as much as he's like he is Batman, yeah, I guess he probably does wants to show that he's like doing some good instead of just like stopping crime and whatnot, or
Yeah.
that one crime, I guess.
So, people, the real enemy here is the judicial system and the many holes it has.
Mega. I mean, no.
I
Yeah.
have
So,
to leave now.
so would you give this episode out of five judges?
I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 judges. This is one of my favorite episodes of the entire series run. I mean, like the story, it's villains all over the place. It's a very thinking piece and like it understands the characters well. And it's just it's so good. Like there's so much more I could say about it, but yeah, no. Like I highly recommend it as one of my favorite episodes. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely one of the episodes. So like, if I like think of like the episodes more than just like a the Joker episode or like the first episode with a Mad Bat or whatever. It's or like the Mr. Freeze episodes and stuff. It's probably this one. Yeah, just because it has everybody in it and it's a good like story and it actually like shows that actually Batman is a necessary evil for Gotham because obviously like they're going to be the hiring criminals anyway, so he is kind of needed. So instead of being the theory of that like Batman creates the villains to warrant keep on going out or sort of thing instead of just being like perpetual cycle sort of thing. So, but yeah, I think I definitely give it a 4 out of 5. So yeah, so all right, everybody, that is the episode for this week. Yeah, thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman, the animated series. Next week's episode will be Avatar, and I'm still waiting to hear back from Jamie Cameron's assistant to see if I would go join it on. It's not just gonna. It'll be funny if you did like James Cameron on. And he's like, "What? Wait a minute, we're not talking about my movie, motherfucker."
Well, it's kind of hard to record this episode in a submarine, like hundreds of like feet underwater.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want him on that much to had to go do that. Yeah.
You sure you want to do that after the last time something happened down by the Titanic, Jim?
So that the third one is like supposed to be coming out at the end of the year, so it should prove interesting. What do you think? What do you think of those movies?
Um,
Have you seen the first two?
oh yeah, no, I saw the first two. I think that I admire the cinematography and the visual effects. I do think he's getting a little high on his own farts.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's well,
They
you know
look
what? Let me save the Avatar notes for our Avatar episode.
yeah, they look good, but they're not good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can follow us at Twitter/X at Beyond Backcast, on Instagram at Beyond the Backcast. We're on YouTube now at Beyond the Backcast, youtube.com slash at Beyond the Backcast. Check us out there, review, subscribe, or on there, or wherever you find your podcast. It'll help us out. And where can we find you on the internet, Braden?
You can find me on my podcast, Fandom and Folklore, which officially now is on Apple Podcasts and
Oh,
also
nice.
Spotify. And yeah, you can also hear Adam on our episode where we talk about Beastmaster,
Because I'm
featuring
the
Man
Beast
Bat's Mark Singer.
Master.
Yeah.
And you can follow me on Instagram on my personal account at Stumpjumpin. And as I said, thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman, the animated series at Beyond the Batcast. Goodbye, good chums. Goodbye.